And the superintendent on occasion will have to sign up for a class. He sends me the email along with the documents, and I will get an email from the credit card company that your card is being used, and it's online or wherever it is. And so everything of mine matches up in balances. So I allow him to use the credit card. He takes it for 2 seconds, goes online, does his class to register. I'll get an email immediately. He gives me the invoice when the bill comes in. I give it to, or Melissa will give it to the water superintendent. He gives the okay, I put my okay. It's a due balance that no one has taken the credit card without due control.
And if that was, if anything was happening, the auditor would pick it up.
He would pick it up,
Definitely
and
would
not
pick it up.
only that, I would get an email. I would pick it up.
That's why we do the
I
audit.
would pick it up.
And our books always balance perfectly, but we do that for the benefit, for the safety of the district and for our commissioner. That's why we have an outside audit twice a year. It's worth it.
Sure it is.
Oh, Text the district.
That's my
When
name.
you're dealing with, when you're dealing with other people's money, you need to take every safeguard.
And without a policy in place, it would be hard to be able to go after the individual individually. This way here is, the policy is there to be able to go after someone who fraudulently used it.
I hope it prevents someone from fraudulent.
Well, yes, but it also assists us in recovering it, or at least getting a judgment to recover it, yeah.
Mhm.
But
Do you have copies of that for the public? How could we come ready to discuss it next time if we don't know what it is?
Could we put a copy of that policy on our website?
I think, I'm not.
Proposed, you have to put in big letters across, proposed policy,
A draft.
a draft, or, you know. But I mean, I have no problem with, if there's a way of putting a copy of that online, so people can read it and
Make sure it's a
make
draft.
suggestions
Yeah.
or comments. Okay, any other? Hey, items not reasonably anticipated by the chair 48 hours in advance of this meeting.
You missed 11.
Oh, and this, item 11, excuse me. Discuss payment fees and policies for public record requests.
I thought, if you give us unfortunately, I don't think I have.
oh, public records, I'm sorry.
No,
That's
she's given us the
the-
schedule, but I
yeah.
don't think I have.
That was never distributed either, so if we could be able to see that too.
I think that's a, policies are made by the board, not by the citizens. We make the policies, you can comment on them, you can like them or dislike them,
Right,
but you don't make the comment, you
Right.
don't make the policies, we do.
Absolutely,
So,
but we
you know,
can't
We have a
comment.
policy, we'll take a vote on it, and, you know, we will try to put it online, but again, you know, we're not having public coming into meetings and making policy decisions for the district. That's not how we operate. We're elected members, we are elected by the public to make these decisions, and that's what we do. You know, if people are aggrieved by that, they can run for election, they can put an article at district meeting to change something, and you know, that's fine. But you know, we make a decision based on best knowledge at the moment on any issue, and that's just the way it is. I mean, we're not going to have every single thing we do questioned. You know, it's just we'd never get anything done. We're fair, and we try to let the public have input, but we're certainly not going to have a district run by 50, 100, 200, 500 people commenting on every single item. We'd never get anything accomplished. We'd never get anything done. I mean, it was just, we'd be going in circles all the time. I mean, we do the best we can, and you know, if the result, if people don't like what we're doing, is don't vote for us.
But
I
people
mean,
don't
that's-
know what you're doing because they haven't seen it.
I just don't know what they haven't seen. Almost everything that goes on at some point goes through a district meeting, and is voted on. So I just, you know, they're the legislative body. They vote yes or no, and that's the way it is. Again, I don't think that they want to vote on every little item. I'll sit here and argue that a smoke detector permit ought to be $25 instead of $20, or $50 instead of $25, whatever that number is. I haven't seen what they proposed, but, you know, we'd never get anything done. I mean, because one person would think it's too much, someone else would think it's not enough. We just never get anything done. So that's my explanation.
I asked Melissa to bring out a copy of those because I evidently didn't bring mine.
All I was saying is that nobody has seen this policy proposal. That's all.
Okay, well, that's a point. Oh, you have- I have it here somewhere.
This one about the rates?
The policy for public records request.
The agenda item is the payment policies for public records request, and that was a guideline that was submitted at one of our prior meetings, and we tabled it for discussion, and it hasn't been put back on the agenda for discussion, and that's where we're at with it. That,
Okay. This basically is, you got a copy?
I didn't think I had it, but I do have it.
It's just the following list of public records that
You
say
this
that-
electronically.
this list is meant to be all-inclusive. It's not meant to be all-inclusive, but a sample of what's considered a public record. If there's an interest in a document that is not listed, contact the record access officer for the Onset Fire District to see what document is a public record. In the clerk treasurer's office, this covers items from a meeting posting, agendas, meeting minutes, payroll and account, payable warrants, time cards, employee salaries, audit reports, insurance coverage, union contracts, and voter lists. Water department, it covers water rates, annual statistical report, consumer confidence report, results from water samples, emergency response plan. Emergency response plan, I don't know if that is or isn't a public document. Generally,
Sometimes we have a request from, we had one recently from court asking for the document, whether there be a court case or whatever. So Ray has given us some, or given to Melissa.
emergency response plans,
Yes,
but
yes.
generally, those aren't public record.
No?
Well,
I got the list on the chief.
yeah, again, that's
I'll
something
double check with him.
I'd wanna, just make sure, because again, you don't want to tell people how we're gonna react to a particular emergency
in advance of
in
that
advance of the
emergency, in the
emergency,
event that it's a
because then they
staged
would,
emergency.
you know, it would almost be self-defeating. Again, that's something depending upon the depth and what's included in that response plan, I think I'd tread lightly on releasing that. Radio logs, logbook, inspections, fire reports, incident reports, and fire investigation reports.
And that emergency response plan may be an after the fact of the emergency for what the response plan was for it. As she said, for
An
a
after-
court case.
an after-
An after
an
the fact
after-action
request,
report or something.
because you can't put a freedom of information request to act in for an emergency response for a response that hasn't occurred. So it would make sense that a court may want something like that, or it may be a public record that is available, an insurance company, et cetera. So it's not, we certainly should have the chief weigh in on it
Yeah, I think
before we
discuss
blanketly
it.
vote on it, but I think that portion of it is specific to an emergency response that has occurred, and not what our plans would be of how we would.
Well, it doesn't say that. It
Exactly.
Doesn't say
And-
after
and
action.
qualification of
report.
it
It
is
says
clear.
Emergency response plan, and I don't think I want to tell anyone what our emergency response plan I
If there was
just
a
don't
threat
think-
for
yeah,
something, we don't wanna give in advance how we're gonna respond.
If it,
Or
if it
how
could affect the
we're gonna
water,
respond.
for instance, you know, I
No.
certainly
What
don't
you
think you
do
wanna
if
be
someone-
telling
Yeah,
people
I'm not, yeah, no.
how you respond to,
But again, that's the point in this draft
yeah.
document for discussion, and that's one area that we need clarification on before we.
Okay, there's another form that is attached to the guideline, which is the steps to request public records from the Onset Fire District. One, submit a written request on a form provided by the Onset Fire District, or email request on onsetadmin@comcast.net. Two, make sure your request is complete with as much information as possible. And three, the Onset Fire District will respond to all requests within 10 calendar days. And there is a further paragraph, the following is a basic guideline when determining if a fee will be charged for a public records request. One, how much time is involved to research the request, how long it will take to actually fill the request, and if there is any redaction of information involved. And three, although not required, whether or not a new document needs to be created in order to fill the request. Fees for public records will be determined on a request by request basis. When it is determined that a fee is charged, $25 an hour worked and 10 cents per copy fee. The Onset Fire District may waive the $25 fee for the first hour of work per requestor per calendar year. There will not be a fee charged for copies of minutes of meetings.
That 10 cents is going to be changed to 5 cents.
5 cents,
Yes.
okay.
It's 5 cents a copy.
0.05
I changed it.
per copy.
And may I comment
Sure.
on something? That's just a brief list of what could be a public record. Every time a request comes in, it's reviewed. I have the up-to-date, public, records
Yeah.
from the.
Because it changes from time to time.
From
as well.
Secretary Galva's office, and they change it and they update it, and, so it's reviewed before anything goes out, so there would not be, and if I have a question about whether or not it's a record, the first thing I do is I usually call, Mary Ann at the town hall to double check with her and get her opinion, and Secretary Galva's office is always available to call.
And things could be redacted as well. I mean, if you had, for instance, if you were gonna release some kind of a emergency plan, if in the plan it stated contact phone numbers, well, people don't want their contact phone numbers or emails or whatever.
Right, and I'm currently.
Released, so that would have to be redacted.
I'm currently in the process of filling public records requests, and there are a couple of documents that need to have information redacted,
Yeah, that's fine.
so.
And on number 3, it is my understanding that, although it's not required, that we're not going to fulfill a request where we have to create a document.
We
If
don't.
there is no document, we don't provide a document.
We don't have to. I have in the past created documents.
Okay, but
For requests, but we do not have to.
if the document doesn't exist, we shouldn't be requesting it be created for the purpose of a public record. I mean, it doesn't
I've
exist.
been through this before.
Yeah.
If it doesn't
You're right.
exist, you don't have to create it,
And
correct?
examples of that could be as simple as a list of names for a specific cause or something. If it doesn't
Yes.
exist,
If
it doesn't exist.
It doesn't. If we don't have that record already in a format, then we don't have to create that record. Exactly.
Makes sense. Common sense. And then the last page of this
Is the actual form.
is the actual form. Date, name, mailing address, city, state, telephone. Onset Fire District, Onset Fire District, Onset Fire Department, or Onset Water. Records requested, and you list the records, the person would list what they're looking for, the description, sign it, date it. And then the bottom part, I assume the fee charge would be on, when you provide it, or do they pay that?
If you're gonna charge a fee, you have to notify before you start the
Yeah.
warrant
What the fee will be?
what the
They
fee
need
will
to the
be.
person making.
Yep.
And then
needs to know.
the person has the option of saying yes, I wanna pay it, and then we would collect the fee before we began the work. And then if they choose not to pay the fee, then the work's